Hello viewers, welcome once again to my new screencast. Today I will present and demonstrate a new screencast number 27. In this screencast I would like to focus on the development of development of our really one of the unique web applications. This web applications is developed based on the Grails technology. So there was a really specification for these development works, and we did it our best, and then we finalize our technologies, our concepts, and based on the customer specification or customer requirements. So we got our product backlog from the customer, and we talked to our team, and we start our development and also some doing some research work with that one, and after that we finalize the product development. And here, if you look at here, the concept of this development, the application has to be controlled, the urban development and management systems. We call it UDCMS system, urban development and control management systems. Basically, these applications is really important for the city engineers or city planners or city authority. If you are living in the city area, the city planners or city engineer has to be maintained all the infrastructure for this application. Basically, infrastructure means in the city plots and city buildings, and then buildings has a multiple floor, means how many levels each floor has, and then each floor has the units, and then there's all parts are related with the city engineers or city planners. So that means the application has to be maintained all the developments, mean based on the timestamp, means when the city planner planned the city and the city engineer to build infrastructure, and then city maintenance authority has to be maintained all the development and control structure. So that means the applications is a continuous process, has to be maintained for any of the new developments, and also the control has to be done and older development, and this complex applications we have to be done. So here you see the process of the applications, and we did it successfully our job for them. So here was the requirements, the data set and data set requirements. There is a lot of discussion which data set has to be maintained and where's belongs to which data set. So you see the plot and the plot informations. The plot has their own authentication informations, and plot has the billing information, ownership information, and payment information and utility informations. And the same things for buildings. For each of the one plot has multiple buildings. So each building has to be, building information has to be stored as like that one, the building information, and also authentication information, billing information, ownership information, and payment information, and utility informations. And the same thing for the floor, or each floor has to be for the authentications, its informations, authentication, billing, and ownership and payment, and so on. And the same thing for unit for each floor information, same. And then there's the additional requirements from the customer, and for the geolocations and some maps integrations. So that means in the maps you should show, you can see the plot locations and the buildings informations and the floor information, where exactly located these specific buildings and plots and then floors and then units. And there is a logging, the user registration process, and login logout process, and there's some set of the information they needed: user registration process and user roles defined, and demographic information for all users, means the register user, the administrative part, and also the user part of the applications. So here, so that was our web applications. The later in the upcoming screencast, we try to produce those developments or those applications to publish as a RESTful or microservice or RESTful API. That means in the screencast number 25th, that's I already discussed about the monolithic application and microservice architecture based applications. That means our existing web development application is little bit monolithic applications, and later the client asking us, is it possible to give them some sort of APIs, then they can build the independent application, means the microservice applications based on our release API. So we try our best to make new APIs based on this our little monolithic application, to divide as a microservice application and supply them as a RESTful APIs. And after that, then the web developer can call these APIs and build their web applications what they needed. Basically, what we focused it here, because there is this application is a lot of parts. Is a plot information part and building information part, floor information part, unit information part. That means in the city authority, there's a department of responsibility. That means one department is responsible for maintaining the plot and controlling the plot information, and other department is responsible for maintaining the buildings information, other is a floor, and other is unit information. That's why the client asks us, please, is it possible to provide them the microservices based on the specific domain field? Domain field means the plot, buildings, floor, and unit with the all logging mechanism. That's why we discussed a long times, and then we make a plan. Okay, we will supply them as a REST services to build a web application based on this this API. That was that will be the next screencast, or more screencast, 1 or 2 screencast, to divide these developments. So then now but this screenshot is only for the how we did our web Grail based web development for this web urban development control and management systems. So let's start to detail how we did the web application based on Grails technologies. So the Grails plus and GSP, Groovy Java server phases. So let's have a start to detail for the development how we did it. If you saw the applications, that this application has a two user logging privileges. So we have a public user as a web portal, and logging user. The logging has a two type: the web application user and also the web administrator user. The web administrator user is authenticated by the other application server. I mean the other backend database server. So that means the administrator is already authenticated and already proved and has all privileges to control the all web application user registrations, and to create the new user and give the user roles for all of them. This is responsible for this. All the administrative authentication is done by, most important is all the administrative authentication is done by the other application, means other web applications. So it's just this application is linked with the other application, and the authentication done by the other application, and overcheck it and then put it here, the all web user. So you see, so here's our projects, our goals of this projects for these the urban development and control management systems. We should build these applications, and then we have to supply the applications, and then the most important is here the geo and non-geo part. Still we are in the the non-geo part is finished. The complete geo part is still not finished. We have to be continue the further development for these applications. So now is the administrator is a logged in, which is approved by the other applications, and he tried to log in the systems. And this administrator is allowed to see all the information. Our system overview means how the application versions, and what's the Grails version and Groovy versions, and what's the JVM, Java versions, and how many controller is this application, and domain, how many domain classes. I mean the GOM of the applications. GOM means our dataset requirements. I already said that the requirement was the user should be maintained by the registration process, and also we need to store, or you have to be manipulate, or have to be maintained our plot information, billing information, and also the floor information and unit information. For each of these information has to be maintained for its own utility part, is the payment part and billing part and ownership part. That has to be maintained. That's why in our Grails DOM model there is a 22 domain classes, and those are domain classes are each of them is a mapped. For this we cannot give you the too detailed source code for this one, but I can promise when we implement our REST services, then I will give you the detailed information how the classes or domain is linked each other or among other. That's the information. So that means you see the administrator can see the database information, how many tables, and also each of the table descriptions, and then the database meta informations, and so on and so forth. Even though he can see he can generate the user, he will generate the users, and then here the administrator is a major part. He has to be register new user for web applications. So let's have a start as administrator logged in, and he or she tried to generate one new user with all possible state. Means if he tried to generate user, then the administrator has to be generate the address location, means in geographically where the new user located. That means in the maps, and also where and take the picture this location and put it the systems. Let's see how is their role, and he has to be put it here the new user role, and it's the address location, even though he has to be register his demographic information. Let's start how the new user generated based on these applications. So now the administrator tried to generate the address location. This is the address location is already registered for different users. Now he tried to generate new address locations. So this is the address location is coming from the OpenStreetMaps. So we have a different data server. We call it from this data server and put all the data with this application. So you see there is a 4,560 records with the information where the district information and division information, and even though Upojela and union informations, and there is a link with the coordinates of these address locations. Then that means the application is a little bit too complex. That means we have the administrator authentication database, and there is another new database. Is we can say it's a third-party database, so the information supporting information database. So we get this data from the OpenStreet, from the GeoFabric, and we put it our own database, and then we model it, and we integrate this data set with our applications. So we are looking for the Dhaka divisions. We have a lot of the address location for Dhaka divisions, almost 1,200 records is there. So he inject the address location from the OpenStreet data, and he give it to the ID like address location 7 for this new user. So, and put it the additional information where the road is street name, because in the OpenStreetMap there is no information about the additional information like the ward number, block name, section name, road name, and road type, and then number of road, and the building number, and floor number, and unit number, and the picture of the units. That's why we try to make a composite composite data. That means we get some data from the OpenStreetMap and some our inserted data. We combine for generating the new user address location. That means the address location is now a really complete and really standard, really structured the address locations. Let's put it the additional information. So he put it the pictures for the locations, and you see that the pictures is there and all additional information is there. So our location is there, even though it's possible to show in the maps and where is it located. So now he tried to generate the address based on the address location. That's what he already created. So he put it the address locations, and then this is the address location is mapped with the address, and he gave it the new address ID 7777 or whatever it is, and then he put it his name, first name, last name, and then here's the middle name is Islam, and then put it his birth certificate and national ID, and put the passport number, and this is the pictures, and put it the all related information. I mean the all related information is demographic informations, means the education level, the marital status, and then the middle name, first name, even though in the father name and mother name. So he give, you see the all the information is there. So the address is done. Now is the final one. He has to be create the new user based on the address location, based on the address. So here is the address ID, or that's we already created. Is this 777 is linked with the address location 7. So here is the again is the so Rakib user created, then with the all respective information that he needs. Now here you see the define the Rakib rules for logging. So he has the administrative tracks, the general users, and then the registration name of the Rafik user. So the user is created successfully. You can see in the list is you can do the code operation out. And now Rakib is all logged out, and now the Rakib, the administrator, what the administrator did, he create the Rakib user with all the informations. That's the sign for the Rakib user. That means he register his address locations and his address, and also the all demographic informations, and plus the username and password of this Rakib user. So now Rakib tried to log in the as a web application user. So he logged in. What he tried to did it like so. Every web application user is possible to generate the plot registration, each of the plot registrations, and plot its own informations, and the plot ownership information, authorization information, and utility information, and billing information, and payment informations. In the same way, in the Rakib, the web application user can do the billing registrations, and then flow registration, and the unit registrations with all the respective information. So let's have a start to generate a new plot for this user. So already you see the many plot is there, and then he tried to locate another thing. He has address location, means the location from the OpenStreetMaps where the plot is located, and then he put it all the necessary informations, and you see the locations of the plot, and the information of each of the floor information for this plot. And he search for the plot informations. Even though you can go with this with maps, and then he can digitize it, these maps, but this part of the application is still not developed, but we are started to integrate the digitizing process automatically from the mouse or the keyboard. And back to the forms, and now he tried to generate the ownership information for these plots, the plot number 66. So here's the address ID, and this is the type of the plots, and ownership ID the 100, and then and type of the plots, and blah blah, these informations, and status of the plots. So you see the plot number 66 is mapped, and ownership information is 55. You can search it and fill it. Sorry. So now he tried to put it the authorization information for the plot number 66 with all respective informations, the plot numbers, and then the authority names, and authority type, and utility, and then he logged out the systems. So that means the Rakib is registered the new plot, and registered the ownership information for a specific plot, and authorization information for a specific plot. Even though he can put it the utility information for each plot, and then payment information and billing information for this thing. Now Rakib is logged out, and now as a public user, public user means the some part of information is allowed to see the publicly. That means it's not the whole part of information, some part of the information is allowed to see, and as a public user. So you see the 66 plot is this information, is just only this information is allowed to see as a public user. So you see, there's only those information. So that means the owner ID and plot ID is a 66 plot, and the owner ID 55, and that's the full name of the person, and when they created, and last modified, and approval date of these plots. Approval means from the government authority, when he approved it. So only this information. This is the portal applications. That means the some part of application is publicly available with some abstract information, and some part of the information of the applications is a private, and that means the needed login user. That's why this applications is really concerned about the logging process and authorization process, because this administrative is a complex, because the lot of department is involved this application. Then we have to be concerned about that one. That's why we build our administrative authorization information from the other server, the other authorization applications, and also the the third-party data set from the OpenStreetMaps has to be really carefully maintained, because it's all the administrative process, is a privileges process, is data security process. We have to be think about it this way, and this is the part of the requirements from the customer. We should follow that specification and standards of the rules and laws and regulations. But we did it successfully. They are happy with that products. So yeah, there's, you see that the plow owner and then so on and so forth. You can do all the registration process and publicly available the part of the informations, and then that's why the application is divided a lot of parts, and then this is the one of the view for our capital city Dhaka. So finally, we did our Grails-based web application for urban development control and management systems. And the next upcoming screencast, we try to convert those applications partially from the monolithic application to the microservice applications, and try to produce the RESTful APIs and developed it and tested in external configuration and deployment from the different environments and different configurations for the if the in the detailed in the microservice and microservice and the monolithic application, I did a really detailed description in the screenshot 25th. You can go there and cross check it, how is that, what's the difference between the microservice application and monolithic applications, and follow the videos. And then here is the most important, we try to make it step by step how we convert the monolithic applications to the microservice application. This is one of the main most important and most professional example. You can follow that one. And the next screencast, I will try to do some try to convert to the microservice application and release the RESTful APIs, and then put it here, the RESTful API based on maybe the Spring Boot or Grails based RESTful API implementations. Let's see how can we do that one. Thank you all. If you have any questions, to please leave a comment below and I will try to answer. And please do not forget to subscribe my channel to get my new upcoming videos. Please subscribe the channels and push the bell button to give the notification for new upcoming videos. And thank you everybody, and see you later. Bye. Goodbye.